So friends, I want to make puff puff. The unique thing about this puff puff I'm making is the fact that I do not have a scale to weigh or measure my ingredients. I don't know where my scale is. Obviously, you know what comes with moving to a new place and then you pack and then you unpack. Sometimes you can't find your things where you left, how you packed them. So here I'm making puff puff. I actually made this for Christmas. It's part of our Christmas meal. We always have puff puff on Christmas Day. I'm just using what did my son call it? Eyeball it. I think that's what he said. Because I said, oh my goodness, I can't find my scale. What do I do? And I need to make puff puff. And he said, Mom, eyeball it. I think you can only eyeball ingredients when you have been doing it on a regular basis. And if I'm being honest with you guys, when it comes to puff puff, I don't think I stick to the recipe as in the measurement of the different or various ingredients that we used in making puff puff. So yeah, I think in the olden days, if I can use that phrase, ancestors, they didn't have a weighing scale then, so they were eyeballing their ingredients and it's just for us in this generation that we have decided to use a scale to make life easy for us. So I just finished sieving the flour, and that's the yeast I am adding to the flour. I'm just adding all my dry ingredients together, and that is my sugar. What's this sugar called now? This is not your normal granulated sugar. It is the one that we use in baking. That's me adding salt. The sugar, I'm trying to remember the name. I cannot remember the name right now, but it's what we use in baking. And all I've just done is to put all the dry ingredients together and give it a good stir with my hands. Never mind, don't worry, my hands are clean. They are very clean. And what was I about to say? I am just going to bring in warm water. You make a hole in the bowl and then pour in your warm water, and you mix to the consistency that is good enough. That's good enough. So yeah, I just do this and I will allow it to set. I will allow it to rise. You know, the yeast is the raising agent, so I will give it time. Funny how we are in the cold season, and this puff puff actually rose. The beautiful thing is the fact that because I was cooking in the kitchen, so the kitchen was already hot enough, and the heat from the cooking is what helped this puff puff to proof. That's the right word. To proof. Yeah, that's the right word. Puff puff is made of dough. We know it's made of dough containing flour, yeast, sugar. I didn't add butter, but you can add butter if you want, salt, water, and eggs. You know, I didn't add butter, but I added eggs. No, sorry, I did not add eggs. What am I saying? I think I'm mixing it up. No, I did not add eggs. I did not add butter. I'm sorry about that mix up. This puff puff, you see, it's very common. It is very common in South Africa. When I say South Africa, I'm not talking about South Africa, the country itself. I'm talking about the continent of of Africa, and it has different names in the different countries that make up Africa, the continent Africa. It has different names. I think in Ghana it is called Bofroth. I hope I got the pronunciation correctly. And in Togo it is called Botocoin, and it's called Bofloto in the Ivory Coast. It is Mikate or Mikate in Congo. It is also Mikate or Bolingo in Angola, Legmat in Sudan, Kala in Liberia, Vetkoek, Amanguinia or Banguinia in South Africa, and Zimbabwe. The prominence of this food stretches even to the southern and eastern edges of Africa, where it is mostly known as Mandazi. Mandazi. I'm sure a lot of my African viewers and African subscribers can relate. So you leave the dough, you've mixed it all the ingredients together and allowed it to proof. and what you see me doing is frying it, cutting it with my with my two fingers to small round shapes. But some people use piping bags, and you just cut the size you want it to come out with, and you now pour your dough in and you keep dropping it intermittently. But I'm so used to using my hands to do this, and I know sometimes when you look at it that you're using your hand to do this is food that somebody's going to eat, it might look nasty. Trust me, it is very hygienic what I am doing, what I have done here, because my hands are really clean, they are not dirty, and I'm cooking for my family. I'm not cooking for the general public. Yeah, you fry this, make sure your oil is very hot. It's very hot, and once you heat the oil to the degree, to the temperature that is required, you reduce the flame. As you reduce the flame so that your puff puff does not get burnt, and you gradually introduce your puff puff inside of it. It's also a very nice snack to have during the winter months. You have puff puff with Coke. Oh my goodness, puff puff with Coke. I don't joke with that. And this quantity I made, I just want to say I used about 400, between 3 to 500 grams of flour. I think that's what I used. I would try and get the correct measurement for each ingredient and put it in the comment section, or sorry, in the description box, so that you guys, if you want to give this a go, you could look at the quantity that is required, and then probably you have a go. So I used baking paper instead of paper towels. I didn't have paper towels at home, but I know I have baking paper. I use baking paper to trap or absorb any oil that will come off the puff puff. But it was so neatly fried. I just like the shape, how small the puff puff came out, and how tasty it was. It's what do we call it? Small chops. Yeah, in Nigeria we have what is called small chops, where you have, in the small chops you have puff puff, you have spring rolls, you have samosas. I can't remember the fourth thing that you add. I think is the banana puffs you add to the small chops, and these are all finger foods, and we serve them at parties. There's no Nigerian party that I know of that you don't have small chops being served. It's either they are serving just the puff puff alone, or you have a mixture of the puff puff, the spring rolls, the samosas, and the banana puffs in it. It's always very nice, very tasty, very delicious. Very delicious, trust me. But if you are watching your weight, guys, I would not recommend you to have this. If you're watching your weight, I will not recommend you to have this, because it's a bit fattening. You're frying it in oil. You have you have your flour, and you have the oil. So it could be you could add a few, pounds around the waist. So if you're a Weight Watcher, please be careful. This puff went down well. As at the day I was having this doing this editing and doing this voiceover, the puff puff was no longer available. We finished it at the dinner table. It was part of what I served on Christmas Day for my family. Like I said, we always do that. I always have puff puff every Christmas Day, especially for us. So guys, let me take a moment now and pause and ask, have you subscribed to my channel? Because if you haven't, what are you waiting for? What is stopping you from subscribing to my channel? I would really appreciate it, guys, if you can just click on the subscription button and turn on the notification bell, so that you would always be alerted whenever I post a video. And I want to use this moment as well to appreciate all my returning subscribers, and also appreciate the new ones that have joined me. And if this is your first time of clicking on my channel and watching, this is the first video you're watching on my channel, I want to appreciate you guys and say thank you so much. You really, 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 really mean a lot, because it's one thing doing a video and posting it or uploading it. It's another for you to have people to actually take the time and watch your video. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Please let me know when you subscribe. Leave a comment and let me know that you have subscribed, and I will reach out to you, and I will definitely reach out to you. Thank you once again. So let me know, guys, what if eyeballing ingredients or having to use the scale is it's preferable. But don't forget that our ancestors, our mothers in the past, they didn't, well, before the invention of scale, they were eyeballing the ingredients themselves. But as technology unfolds, we get advancement and we get help as well in the kitchen. So guys, what I was just doing, I just fry the puff puff in different batches. Make sure you don't overfill the pan that you're using in frying your puff puff. Make sure you don't overfill it, because when you overfill the pan, the heat or the temperature becomes reduced, and your puff puff might end up soaking excess oil. I'm sure you don't want that, and you're not going to enjoy it if it soaks excess oil. But yeah, I was really proud of myself. I was happy, and tell you the truth, I really don't stick to the recipe sometimes, and that's it. Looking so well cooked, not an element or a trace of raw dough inside of that puff puff that I just split open. I really want to appreciate everyone. Thank you so much for taking your time and watching this video. Tell me what you would like me to do, or what food you would like me to make in my next video. I will see you then. Bye, and God bless you. Take care, guys.